Hey, 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 okay. All right, we're here today. God bless you all. I really want to talk about some fabulous recipes that I discovered. I'm always on the internet looking for new recipes, and I've been dying for some carrot cake, right? So I was going to, my grandson's girlfriend's birthday was the other day, and I wanted to fix one for her birthday. But he told me not to because she has a very selective appetite. A lot of things she doesn't like that you would assume that the average person would. So I said, okay, I just backed off of it. But when I was thinking about doing it, I started researching, because she's vegan, I started researching vegan gluten-free recipes. And let me tell you the one I found. I didn't use it yet, but it looked yummy. It looked really yummy. And let me tell you about the website, because I really like the woman who's running this website. And because her energy, her positive energy was so good and inviting, and she has a great sense of humor, and I really enjoyed that. So, and reading her writing was a pleasure. So, but her name is Allison Andrews. Okay, very lovely lady. In the name of her website is Loving It Vegan. Okay, really, really fabulous recipes. Her website is extremely professional. Obviously, there's a lot of money invested in producing her website, and her recipes very, very professional. And but she's got a great sense of humor and very pleasant person. So I don't know her personally, but from what I've read and the things that she's done on her website, I really enjoyed them. And I have not tried this recipe yet for the carrot cake, but as soon as I get home, I'm going to work on that one. So, but something she was talking about, I want to share with you, and that's egg substitute. Okay, because in this particular recipe, she uses an egg substitute that I don't really use, and so I thought this would be something very interesting to share with you. Okay, so this is using flaxseed. Now, I use flaxseed a lot, and we all know that flaxseed has tremendous benefits health-wise. And one of the things that they recommend for holistic treatments when people have cancer is that they consume a lot of flaxseed. Now, I don't know what it does besides providing a huge portion of omega-3, but it's supposed to be really good for people who are dealing with treatments, going through treatments when they're dealing with cancer. Okay, so, but I have no evidence on that other than people use it and they swear by it. And it has a lot of other health benefits. But what she's using this flaxseed for in this recipe is an egg substitute. Wow, there's a lot of fabulous things out there that you can use in baking and in other things besides chicken eggs or any kind of animal eggs. So people who are doing a lot to find old recipes that don't use eggs. People didn't have chickens all the time. So this one here uses, she uses the flaxseed meal, not the powder. She takes the flaxseed, and if you don't have access to the flaxseed meal, you can make your own meal by having the flax seeds. Now, when I buy flax seeds, I buy the seeds themselves because they last longer. And once it's processed, once it's ground down, the oils get loose, and you can lose some of the benefits of the oils. And there's a tremendous benefit there. You don't want to lose that. And they have a tendency to get rancid. So, and you want to get them fresh, as fresh as you can too, because they will get rancid on the shelf. So, but anyway, that's what she does. She uses the flaxseed in placement of, there's 2 eggs in this recipe. Now, reading her on her website, she says that flaxseed can be used to replace 1 egg recipe, not 2 egg recipe. And it's because the consistency of the flaxseed when it's used as egg replacement. Apparently, it doesn't solidify like an egg does in a baking process. So for replacing 2 eggs or more, you might want to try a different egg replacement. But she actually used this one in this recipe, and it worked out fine for 2 eggs replacement. So this is what she does. She grinds up the seeds, and she uses 1 tablespoon. This is for 1 egg replacement. She uses 1 tablespoon of the ground flaxseed meal, and then she adds 3 tablespoons of hot water. That's boiling hot water, 3 tablespoons. She mixes them, stirs them, lets them sit for about 2 minutes, and then she's got the consistency that she needs for using a replacement as a replacement for 1 egg. Now this recipe she has uses 2 eggs, and she was able to use this doubling that process to replace those 2 eggs in this particular recipe. So I just want to share that with you because it's really wonderful to find different things that you can use for baking, especially because you want to bake. You want to bake what you want to bake, right? You don't want to have limitations. Nobody wants to have limitations. And this provides you opportunity to make substitutes in recipes that already exist. So you have a lot of gluten-free, and gluten-free is a little bit more tricky, but you have your gluten-free recipes, and if they're not vegan, and a lot of them aren't, you can make the substitute here by using your almond milk or soy milk, whatever, coconut milk, whatever milk you prefer, and exchanging it for the whole milk or buttermilk or whatever they're using in the recipe. And they can use this flaxseed meal to replace an egg. Now, another way of replacing an egg, there are products on the shelves that you can get to replace eggs. But we talked about this before, and it's the aquafaba. Aquafaba is bean water. And you get this bean water, you can make it yourself, or you can get it by opening a can of chickpeas, or any kind of beans really, but it's most commonly used with chickpeas because the chickpea water is clear. So you can take that chickpea water that comes in the can, okay, pour off your water into a bowl, and you could actually whip that up and make meringue out of it. I mean, that's how great it is, So that's something you should try, Put a little, what is it? Anyway, check out a recipe and do that. This lady here has really done a great job of proving out her recipes. So try these. Go to that website. Again, it's Loving It Vegan. And that's Allison Andrews. Really wonderful. And she gives you a free cookbook. So check that out. Go to that website and get that free cookbook. I applied for it just today, so I'm looking forward to getting mine. Anyway, now there's something that's a wonderful thing to deal with, but there's something I really want to talk about. And it's not very pleasant. Oh, come on, here she goes. All right. I'm sorry. And of course, this lady has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about now, okay? So let's turn that page and let's get to what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I spent the morning in a court, and I went there to support senior citizen who is a relative, and she's disabled, and she's been she's a little emotionally challenged. In fact, quite a bit emotionally challenged, and it's part of a birth defect that she had when she was born. So, a trauma or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, she's emotionally and mentally challenged. Anyway, this situation was that she's been having this ongoing problem with a neighbor. And the neighbor is kind of thuggish, and he finds great pleasure in pushing her buttons and getting her upset. And then he presses charges against her. This has been going on for several years. And the latest event was on Thanksgiving evening. She's a real good cook, and she cooks for a lot of her friends, and a lot of her friends are homeless people and people with disabilities. She has this one lady comes over in a wheelchair, and she has other people that she's known for years that are, you should say, houseless, right? Because they have a home, they have a home with each other, but they're houseless people. So this next door neighbor of hers has been giving her a real bad time, and he decided to assault her husband. He followed him from the street to the door and was making a ruckus and threatening to kill him, quite frankly. And she came out and intervened in the situation, got in between them. And anyway, the police were called, and she was charged with all kind of stuff that she didn't do, but it doesn't matter. She was charged. She was taken into custody, and that's always what happens. And one of the reasons it happens is because she gets emotionally upset, and she can't communicate. She cannot communicate when she gets emotionally upset. So they treat her like she's on drugs or something. Okay? So let's take a little break, and I'm going to tell you the rest of the story, what happened in court. It's amazing. All right? Okay, now we're back. Let me tell you this. She usually gets released right away. This guy has this thing where he tries to get her arrested. He creates all kind of lies. I read some of the documents of his complaints, and one of the things he did was he said that she was a 200-pound, 6-foot tall black woman. Now let me tell you, she is a black woman, and she's but she's 55. Oh no, she's 57. And let me tell you this: she's never been over like 135 pounds in her life. She's only 5'4". But he put this in his documentation so that he can get the police riled up when he calls the police. He does this. He's done this 20 or 30 times. And every time the police come out, they arrest her. They arrest her. They've even drug her out of her house naked. Buck naked. No female police there. Men police drug her out of her house naked. Okay? Drug her down the hallway, out into the street, and into a police car. Naked. Now, of course, she's filed a complaint because of that. And but nothing's happened with the complaint. There's other things that's happened. But, there are some police officers involved, and there's usually 8 cars that come out. Because I've gone down there and I've seen it. The neighbors have called me, and I've gone down there and I've seen this. This is a complete tactic of harassing this woman. And I don't know why they don't arrest the guy. I've seen situations like this before, and usually, and she's filed complaints against him about continual harassing her. There's been break-ins in her apartment. There's harassment, people peeping in their bedroom windows and tapping on the windows, make sure that they knew that they were looking in the windows. Just constant tormenting. And then she goes off. She starts screaming and hollering, crying, and she can't communicate. She can communicate if she's not upset, but when she gets upset, forget it, She's had a couple of strokes. And this guy just keeps pushing the buttons. Now, I do know that he is supposed to be a white supremacist. And he gets his kicks out of getting her arrested on weekends and holidays. It always happens on a Friday or a holiday, because he knows once she goes to jail, she won't be coming out. She'll sit for a while, okay? Well, I went to support her and her husband at court the other day. And I sat there and I could not believe what I heard. Almost everybody was gone out of the courtroom before they called her, and it was one of the couple who had to wait until after lunch. But the district attorney raised objections because the judge was going to release her on onward coordinates, which means she was on her own, being faithful to come back to court in January. And the district attorney objected. Now, this is what his basis of his objections were. And I could not believe this. I've heard some lies, but this This was outrageous. He told the judge that she should not be released because she's missed failure to comply with 20 court dates. 20 court dates she didn't make. Think about it. This came out of that DA's mouth. 20 court dates. Now, what judge would ever give someone a court date when they've missed 3? Why would they give them another court date when they missed 4 or 5? Now, certainly with 19 court dates, they're not going to give them another court date. Okay? 20 court dates she was supposed to have missed. And let me tell you, she's never missed one ever. Okay? But he said that she missed 20. He also said that she violated a court order. He charged her with a lot of outrageous stuff. And people couldn't believe it. What is he doing, you know? He said that she violated a court order. And it was supposed to be a restraining order to stay away from this man. Well, now their doors are like maybe 5 inches apart, 6 inches apart. So she's supposed to stay 100, was it not 100, but 10 yards away from him. So this is supposed to be a restraining order that he has on her. Where's the restraining order? So the public defender who was helping this woman asked, what court dates did she miss? I'd like to know what court dates she missed. The DA went through his papers. Well, I don't have the dates. Well, can I have a copy of the restraining order? Because I've never seen a copy of the restraining order. I don't have it in my files. Oh, well, I can get it to you. And the judge said, well, we can get it for you. You know. He said, well, I'd like to know, do you have it with you now? Oh, yeah, sure, I have it. This is what the public defender, the district attorney said. And he said, well, maybe have the dates on it? Because it may be expired. I mean, after all, there's a dispute as to the accuracy or the validity of this restraining order. Can we have the dates on it? Oh, yeah, sure. And the district attorney went through his paperwork, and of course he didn't have it. This man was lying through his teeth. I could not believe that he went to this extent to, I guess this woman was going to be his donation for the week. Maybe he didn't have anybody with any convictions yet because people were going home or whatever. He was going to make sure he locked her up. And if she didn't have someone there to support her, she was there in court the day before, didn't have anybody there because nobody knew that she was going to court that day. There was no phone call. She never got any phone calls, you know. So nobody was able to communicate with her to find out what was going on. So nobody was there to support her the first day she went to court. She was brought back the next day. So I guess he assumed that she had nobody to back her up. So he was just going to squash this one. Let me tell you something. This is an Oakland, I guess he's assistant district attorney. Anyway, whatever he is, he works for the district attorney's office. This is the kind of shenanigans, these lies, this hateful invention of facts is the kind of stuff that has people in prison for a lifetime or dead. Now, you know, it starts from the top down. We've got people in our highest office in our country now who feels like it's all right to lie as long as you can get what you want to get done. So what do we expect? I mean, facts don't matter. Just lying. Do you know who is the father of lies? Who is the master? Who is the God of lies? Yes. Who are they serving? What purpose does this go to? You know, it flashes me back on women going to the doctor, African American women going to the doctor and coming out sterile. It's the same thing. What's going on here? Is this a process of elimination? If you knew how many women I know who have gone to have examinations and end up sterile, You'd be amazed how many black women have gone through this. You know, I mean, this is an attack. This is an attack. You know, this is not what my show's about. But I am just outraged that this guy could get away with this. And if that public defender wasn't an upright person who challenged this guy very politely, and the guy looked like an idiot. He looked like an absolute moron. He sat there and created these outrageous lies just to get this woman locked up. The charges were totally fake. And this has been an ongoing problem with this next door neighbor. And they were in court several times last year, because I went down to the court and saw this man. And he had to get up in front of the judge and admit to the judge that he lied on his applications and complaints. Okay? That's this guy, the next door neighbor. He actually had to admit that to the judge. Not the same judge and not the same courtroom, but the same case. Because it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. Okay? So you know what? We need to pray. We need to pray for this man, that God will remove him from her presence. Give her peace. We need to pray for the Lord to clamp down on these people that are terrorizing people who are helpless. We need to do what we can to protect those who are mentally or physically challenged. What does the Lord say? What are we supposed to do? Those who have so little, we're supposed to protect and provide, right? These are God's children. And we cannot let these people who get these positions, who get the degrees and get the jobs, destroy people because of the power they have. Well, okay, she got off on a tangent. I'm sorry. But I had to tell you what was going on because this happens so much. Okay? So we're going to wrap this up. I apologize for bending your ear. But, I really want you to understand what's going on. I want you to have compassion for people. I want you to not judge them, but embrace them. Pray for them. Lift them up. And understand that you have people who lie spontaneously. Don't just believe what comes out of their mouth because they're in a position of power. God bless you. I love you, and you know I do. Bye-bye.